All right. I think we're ready to get into this discussion now. This should be very heated. I love it. I love it. I love it when it gets like this. Let's get professional. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DG360. The fam is here, and we're going to talk about, we've been talking about financials. It's been a slow news week. Everybody's kind of on break, getting back to the normal grind. And over the, about 4 days ago on Friday, I asked a question because we went over some of the financials that were released from Cloud Imperium, and we saw that there was like $9 million spent in marketing. Now we know Sandy runs the department, and we know that this is not a public company. Now I have to say this every time, and I feel like it gets old, but I get it. They're not obligated to show us any of this, and we're super appreciative that they show us the financials. And I think partially the reason that they show us the financials because there was this guy named DG a few years back that kept focusing on the fact that it would sure be nice if we could see their numbers, but you won't hear anything like that because I guess I'm the only one that toots my horn. Toot no own horns. Sorry, toot no own horn alert. Just teasing, guys. What I'm trying to say is I broke it down for everyone. I said, I think this is what they're spending. I think this is what they're making. Gray, at that particular point in time, you can go back and you can look. In fact, let's do it. Let's go back and let's look right now because I want Gray to be proven wrong. Let's do SIG Financials and let's just see how long ago I was at it. Oh my God, I talk about financials a lot, don't I? Oh my God, it's on my channel somewhere. Do I talk about this much? Why do I talk this much about financials? I'm so sorry, everybody. Let's get back. All right. If you want, go back and you guys can look at it. I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing to my entire audience. I talk about financials way too much. That's what I learned. But anyhow, it was a long time ago when I was talking about financials prior to when they actually said, you know what, we're going to release financials. And I was happy about that. And no, it just wasn't me. Gray's right. There were a lot of other people. Okay, but I think I was one of the first to really question it because I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see what they were spending versus what they were making. I wanted to see if the business itself was sound. And a lot of people say, you don't have the right, DG. A lot of people get angry at me when I do this. And my only response is that I'm passionate about the project and that my incentive and the reason why I do this is because I want the dream to become a reality. I want Star Citizen to become a reality. And so, yes, I'm nosy. Yes, I want to know the numbers. It's just the way that I am. I just want to know what's going on inside the company. That's just who I am as a person. And I feel like in some way our voice can help them. They might not listen to it. Sometimes they might listen to it. It's a variable and we don't know if it's affecting them or not, but I feel like in some small way, us talking about it together as a community is being listened to. And I think that's one of the reasons why they decided to release their financials because they heard people say, hey, what are you doing with the money? And they heard it loud and they heard it clear. And then more people jumped on that. And then more people until finally they said, okay, let us show you the financials. Here you go. And then we got to see it. Now I'm going a little deeper. I'm getting a little bit more personal. And there's going to be some people that are angry. They're even angrier. They're going to say, you don't have the right, DG, to know how that $9 million was spent. Well, we didn't have the right to know what their financials were in the first place. And look what happened. They showed us the financials. So maybe they'll get a little bit deeper, but they probably won't. But I thought it was an interesting poll to take for everybody in our community. And 418 of you voted. Now, the questions, the poll, here it is. Does the $9 million spent in marketing shown on my latest Cloud Imperium 2018 financial video worry you? I personally think it's a bit high, and while we'll never know how that money was appropriated because I believe they won't show us, we do know that the loss for 2018 was approximately $7 million, and that marketing is Sandy's department. Take some time to take the poll and comment. We'll go over this on next week's stream. Next week is now here, And here are the results with 418 of you participating. Thank you very, very, very much. 19% of you said, I'm fine with 9 million being spent on marketing. So 20% of people were completely fine with that number. That's pretty good. That's over 80 people. Over nearly half of the people who voted on this. And I think this was reflective of a larger sampling too. Like, I feel like if we did 4,000 votes, I feel like if we did 40,000 votes, and this is just my instinct and my opinion, that we would see that there would be 50% of people that wanted to know, at the very least, how the money was spent. So 90%, so 49% of people, half of our poll, were okay with it, but they still wanted to know how it was spent. So they might not have been as okay with it, you know? Like, if you think about it, they might want to know a little bit more about how that 9 million was spent. And then maybe after finding out, maybe they wouldn't be so okay with it. But half of the people wanted to know how that 9 million in marketing was spent for 2018. 11% said they don't care. I would account this for like the complete gung-ho white knight, and that's fine. If that's your position, good for you, dudes. You're in whole hog. You're completely in. I get that stance. I get where you're coming from. You're like, fuck it. Okay? But that's only like, that's like 42, 43 people out of the 400. They said, But if you look at the last two positions here, 21% were upset. So while there's 19% of people that were completely fine with it, like completely fine, there was 21% of people that were upset. Mosquito says he voted, I don't care. He just doesn't actually care. He just wants to get that out there. Mosquito's like, I don't give a fuck. Maybe I should have put that as an option there, Mosquito, for you. But anyway, 21% of people were actually upset. 9% said, I'm upset and think it's creative accounting to benefit Sandy. And I don't want to bash Sandy on this video by any stretch of the imagination. I think people should be held accountable, professionally speaking, at their jobs, but I don't want to make this a personal video against Sandy. I just want to make sure that I have that option there for people who are legitimately upset that Sandy is in the marketing department. And frankly, in 2019, did not make an appearance. Let's be frank. Sandy did not make an appearance in 2019 whatsoever. And, you know, when it comes to marketing, and she's the head of marketing, I have a little bit of a seed of doubt in my mind where I'm like, hey, wait a second. You know, if Sandy's on top of this and 9 million is being spent in marketing, I definitely kind of am curious on how this money is being spent. That's just me. That's my opinion. And that's not personal. That's professional. Anyhow, the last 12% said, I'm upset as reducing cost of it could have benefited CI. Jay says, is she still the head of marketing, though? I believe she is. I mean, she's on the board now. So I know that she has since moved to the board. We did a video on that, Jay. I know that she's part of the board now. I don't know if now, because she's part of the board, that perhaps she's not head of marketing anymore. I'm not quite sure. As far as in my mind is concerned, I'm with Fox. I feel like it's just like she's head of marketing on paper. You know, that's my stance on it. And not, again, I'm not trying to be mean to Sandy. I'm not trying to make it personal. It's just my perception of the situation covering Star Citizen for 5 years. That is my perspective. That is my opinion. But anyway, 12% of people said, I'm upset as reducing the cost of it could have benefited Cloud Imperium. And that's a very legitimate concern. Some people said, 9 million isn't a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money. You know, when it comes down to it, that's not that small of an amount of money. You know, when you consider the fact in 2018, I think they did 37 million in revenue, that is a pretty large chunk of spending cash. And for the promotion. Now, other people saying, you know, marketing includes a lot, DG. And let's go over some of these comments right now, because this is what I want to do. I want to let me get some of your comments on the board here, because some people are commenting as we speak in live time, and we'll try and go over these as quick as we can. So Pirium Clem says exactly what I was talking about. He says 9 million for marketing seems low in my opinion. Not so much so in my opinion. And that's how I'm going to answer him. But I understand where you are coming from. And, you know, if you talk about large companies, I don't think 9 million is a lot. But I wouldn't say it currently at the valuation that Cloud Imperium is at, and that they're recording the losses that they have consecutively for 4 years. I wouldn't consider 9 million a small amount. Just saying, Perion. Just saying. That's my opinion. Tombo says they need a game to market first. Oh, snap. Also saying he needed a new handbag. Oh, I'm not going there. I'm not going there, Tombo. And you know, Gray has a comment that I think you'll see in some of these other comments. He says, what did I show for that 9 million? You know, what is it? And, you know, we should talk about that now. I think marketing covers like expenses like CitizenCon, which was pretty substantial. It also would cover like all the knickknacks for the VIP members and all these, you know, special merch giveaways. And you think about what they spent on CitizenCon, you think about those what they get 40 computers that they brought in. I mean, that's not cheap, but we're talking 9 million. Now, you have to add up quite a bit to get to that number. And it just seems a little bit high to me, and I kind of just want to like get a little bit more clarification on how that 9 million is spent. Personally, 9 million is less than 3% of SIG's entire budget. Well, you'd have to show me the number on the budget, Verb, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that it's just 3%. What is the tilde 3%? I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say. But keep going, because I would love to hear what you have to say on it, Verb. But I don't think, I mean, if you talk about 37 million, let's do some math here, of revenue brought in 2018. Let's see right now here. Let's get this going. And you do, what do you do? 9 million. Let's see, is that enough zeros? Yep. And you divide that by 37 million. That should give us our percentage. So that's 25% of the revenue that they brought in. So if you look at the revenue in 2018, where they're bringing in 37 million from ship sales, and then you look at the output of the 9 million that was spent in marketing and publishing, that's 25% of the revenue that they spent for marketing. Okay, Verb. Okay, dude. So that seems a little bit high for me. 25% of the overall revenue brought in being spent back out for publishing and marketing. And CitizenCon, let's say this, CitizenCon in 2018 was kind of I think a debacle. As far as, and why were they going to consider charging people $20? You guys remember that? When they were considering charging people $20, and I voiced out and I was like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous that we have to pay $20. And I was like one of the first. I think Montoya was with me on that one. We both posted videos like almost automatically in 2018. It was like Montoya and I like instantly came out with videos that were like $20. This is goddamn ridiculous. So there was a reason they were going for that $20. And you know, yeah, I mean, like, but if you consider the fact that they were going to charge people $20, like, I don't know. It was a little bit ridiculous to me. Thanks for that follow. But yeah, you got to include the fact that, you know, they paid for CitizenCon, all the things that were brought in for that particular CitizenCon, and 2948 was the year, would be 2018. They didn't have those computers, by the way, that I mentioned earlier. That was for 2019. We're talking about 2018. And they didn't do that. So those computers wouldn't be added into that 9 million. But if you think about, yeah, the money that they spend for jump points, and, you know, I'm not quite sure if they actually take the salaries and include it. You know, it could be creative accounting. They could actually take the salaries and slide it over to that 9 million. But I don't think they do. Some people had said that too. Like, what about the salaries for those in the marketing department? I don't think they do because they separated that. They separated salaries out. So that would be pretty irresponsible accounting if they took the salaries from those people in the marketing department and then just slid it over to the marketing and publishing expense area. I don't think that they did that. So I think that what marketing and publishing covers in this $9 million that was reported, by the way, the video's on the channel if you want to refresh yourself on what we're talking about. I think what we're talking about are like all the merchandise, the VIP materials, the perhaps, you know, we were talking about some of that money going to like gaming websites that cover that would do like these interviews, but I don't think that's how that works either. I don't think like Star Citizen or Cloud Imperium pays to have like these interviews. Like you saw interviews with Sean Tracy, you saw interviews with Josh, I can't think of his last name, who's doing the economy alongside Tony Z. You saw these like interviews. I don't think they go, hey, we'd like to do an interview. Here's some money so that we can promote it in the guise of an interview. I don't think that's how that works. In fact, I think a lot of the promotion in the marketing for Star Citizen happens at the grassroots level with people as myself, like content creators that cover it because they're passionate about it. So like to me, that figure, that 9 million figure does seem a little bit odd to me. Like I'm trying to figure out exactly. And like I said, we may never know, but I think it's good to talk about. I think it's good to hold people accountable for this money because they could have shown a profit. Now, why is it so important that they show a profit? I got a lot of comments that said it wasn't important that they shouldn't show a profit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, did we go communist? Like aren't we capitalists still? Well, yeah, but look at companies like Amazon and look at companies like Uber and all these companies that post losses. Well, yes, they're posting losses, but they're building a huge growth industry business and people are investing in them because of the promise of future profits. Think about it. Think about how Amazon has completely taken over the entire world when it comes to ordering things. The promise of those future profits is why people are okay with those losses. That's I know Mosquito thinks I'm wrong about this, and that's fine. I love the debate. Like if you think I'm wrong, I have no problem with that. That's great. But I like to talk about this to put this out there for people. And I respect people's opinions on this. Like I'm not trying to diss people that disagree with me. I don't think that's the community I'm supporting here. I love you guys. I love that you guys have differing opinions. This is just with my experience with trading companies in the stock market for over 10 years. Some people would say, oh, you shouldn't think about this like a trader. It's the only way I do think sometimes. I think like this when it comes to financials. When it comes to financials, I look at companies like this and I look at the financial health of the company. Why am I looking at the financial health of the company, DG? DG, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Well, I'm passionate about the game and I want the game to become a reality. And therefore, I tend to gravitate towards financials because that's the world I lived in for so long. And I like to talk about these types of things. In fact, we saw that at the very beginning of the video that I have a lot of videos that cover the financials. Mosquito says, DG, don't need to be annoying, but what would push SIG to finish the game if not the losses? I'm not quite sure what that even means, Mosquito. I'm not quite sure where you're going with that, dude. Ash says, I think you're overestimating Amazon. It's not that big in Europe and even less in Aussies. Perhaps I am overestimating them, but it is a $2,000 stock though, Ash. And I do remember the day that it was selling at 60. And I wish I had bought Amazon at $60 and ridden it all the way to the $2,000 area. And I would probably still be holding on to that stock even now because I really think it's going to be one of those types of companies, Right. right. You know what I'm saying? So people invest in these companies and they're fine with posting losses because they know they're investing for the fact of the future gains. And a lot of tech companies do have these losses. A lot of tech companies will have these losses just on the mere fact that what they're doing is they're reinvesting into the company to grow the company. They incur these losses, but people are still fine with the losses because their money's in it, and they know they can basically reap the rewards of the promise that they will make these profits in the future. And that's why people keep their money in those stocks, because they say, okay, this money is going to come in and I'm going to bank huge off of the future profits. And that's just the way how the stock market works. And that's why these companies can float like that. And one of the reasons why companies go public is because they have that cash. They have further cash and capital to continue growing the business. And that's just how it works. Now, Cloud Imperium is not. Cloud Imperium is a private company, but even private companies like Cloud Imperium, as we see, have private stock that they will sell to private investors. Look what happened in 2018 with the Calder money that came in, that $46 million that came in. Why do you think that money came in? This is a question I do not see a lot of. We're getting off topic here, but I'll get back to this in a moment. In my opinion, the $46 million came in because cash was really, really, really tight. Cloud Imperium needed cash. And the reason it was so difficult for Chris at Cloud Imperium, Chris Roberts, to take that cash is because he knew he was going to lose some of the control of the company. It was one of those things that he basically said to the masses that he didn't want to do. He didn't want to do this. He wanted to fund it completely by your and my money, by backer money. Now, there has to be a reason why he brought that investor money in, that $46 million in. There has to be a good, tangible, solid reason why he brought in the $46 million. And let's not be coy about this. It wasn't for marketing purposes. You know, people say that all the time. Oh, this $46 million came in. They're going to take every single dollar of the $46 million and pump it back out into promotion. Well, I don't believe that for a second. If other people do, that's your opinion. That's great. You can have that opinion. That's fine. I just don't agree with it. I think that money came in because they were very cash tight. I think they needed that money, guys. So Chris fought with it and he said, I'm bringing in that money. I need to keep going. I need to keep growing. I need that investment. Sold off a percentage of his personal private shares. He needed the money. So anyhow, that's where I'm at with that. That's how it works even in the private sector with companies. That's how it goes. And I think that money is going to be good. I think that's going to be good for the company. I'm glad. Hopefully they will get into that position again. And that's why I focus on the financials, because I don't want them to get into the position where they get cash tight again and they have to sell off another portion. Because the more that they do that, the more control that they lose. And we get ourselves in a situation which we all want to avoid. And that's where those who invest personally, privately, large chunks of cash will eventually say, I'm not fine with XYZ. These are the changes that need to be made. I have a large portion of control on the board. Thus, this is how decisions are made. And then that kind of backfires Chris's plans and his vision. And then we get a big fucking mess. So one of the reasons I do focus on the financials is to see where we're at. Like, where are we at? You know, how is the wind blowing? Are we okay? Is Chris going to have to bring in more private investment money? And some people say, what you do, DG, does not matter because it's just you. It's just your voice. But like I said earlier, I think the more people that talk like this, that raise awareness like this, it's awfully helpful for the game. It's amazingly helpful for the game. And because eventually Cloud Imperium will listen to these types of voices. In fact, they never showed their financials before. I and others were saying, we sure would like to see the financials. And people, boom, they started showing the financials. Same thing here. We talk about these types of things. And I think eventually, if there's enough voices and it gets out there, that they'll start to look at it. Especially Chris, he's going to look at these types of things. At least my opinion again. Anyhow, boom, back to the comments here. I got way off track, but I hope that at least gives you guys an idea of where I'm at, my headspace. Like when I make these videos about financials, the reason why I do these videos about financials, I think that's great. And I think Jay's right. This would be a great topic for another video. I think we already did that video. Now let's get back into this video where we're talking about this $9 million that was spent in 2018. David Bland says DG thinks it wasn't just for marketing, and I agree. I don't think that money was just for marketing. Absolutely, David is right. That money definitely went to other development of the game. I also think it went to support just the basic functions of the business, David. I really think that money goes into like helping people with salaries. I think that money goes into every aspect of what it takes to keep Cloud Imperium afloat. You know, so yes. All right, give you a heart. Titan Field, 9 million sounds like nothing for marketing. And like we said, I think it's a little bit, I think it's not nothing. I don't think it's like glaringly huge, but it's 25% of the revenues that was spent, or at least marked as an expense for the marketing department. I don't think it's not nothing. Let me put it that way. I'd always put development, since they make that sort of money like every month, don't they? No, they don't. They don't make that money every month. Approximately, usually, what is it? Around 1.5 to 3 million thereabouts. A month is what they make, unless they do sales or citizen cons, and then they shoot through the fucking roof. They did have amazing sales in 2019, highest ever. I think we are at 48 million in revenue. Ridiculous amount. That's great. And I'm really looking forward to the 2019 figures. I'm really looking forward to see what happened in 2019. I really want to see how they report it. It's really going to be, once I review it and analyze those numbers, it's going to be my overall, what I want to say, personality. Once I see those numbers, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to be like, I think I'm going to finally be like, I'm optimistically positive right now. If I see those numbers and they don't have a small loss or a gain of some sorts or a profit, and they post another loss in the multiple millions, I think I'm going to get a little bit more negative on the project if that does happen. But right now, I'm optimistically positive. I'm skeptically optimistic. I am positive right now. But like I said, 2019 is a pretty big year for me to see those financials I want to see. Killian says, seriously, who cares? I do. I care. and I explained why I care. This game doesn't need marketing in that scale. Yeah, I mean, like, the other thing that I would say, Killian, is like, it seems to me that the marketing really is done primarily at a grassroots level. So when I see 9 million, I kind of think like, wait a second, like just the figure itself, 9 million. Okay, CitizenCon. Okay, like little bits of doodads and little baubles and stuff for VIP members and that merch that they hand out. You know, how many things can they put in that column? Like I said, I don't think that the salaries from those that work in the marketing department are included in that 9 million figure, which is huge. And so, you know, it is a big deal to me, and I do care. I do care because I am, like I said, I'm passionate about this project. But anyway, some of it went to pay for Jared's Halloween costume. That's funny, operator. Joey says 9 million on marketing is great, but where is it? How was it spent? I just don't see it. That's great. And you know, I love the speculation. We don't know. I get it. And I love to see like people speculate and say, okay, well, here's the things that it could be spent on. That's great. I just, you know, I think we all at some point, there's 50% of people in the poll, guys, out of 400 people. Some people are going to say that's just a small sample. That's just a small sample. I don't know. That's a pretty large, to me, in my community, 400 people turning out for a vote seems pretty big for me. But 49% of people, that's half everyone, wonder how it was spent. I want you guys to get the significance of that. And the argument against that can be, yes, it's a small sample. I get it. But I have a pretty positive, upbeat community. All of us are very passionate about this game. 50% of people, they're okay with it, yes, but they want to know how it was spent, Greg. Do you understand that? Because what that says is, if they were to open up the box and to see how it was spent, maybe they wouldn't be okay with it. You know? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. People want to know how it was spent. That's pretty significant. That shows me that people care. Like that figure, that 49% shows me that people do in fact care about the $9 million that was spent. I mean, it's in the poll. It's right there. 49% of people want to know how the money was spent. They might be okay with it now. Nobody knows how it was spent, but they want to know how it was spent. They fucking care. That's 50% of people. That's half of the people that took the poll want to know how it was spent. Guillermo, though, he doesn't care. It was spent on marketing, says Matt. Sure. I don't care. I fully trust their financial criteria. They will also spend much more on advertising of Squadron 42 at its launch. I do believe that. I do agree with you there. Sorry for my bad English. I wish you a great year. This is why I love this community. We might disagree, but I love it. I love it. Super civil, super love this community for being so open-minded. So many differing opinions in here, but everybody's civil with one another. I fucking love you guys for that. I fucking love you because, you know, there's some people that will take offense and get angry to this, but they're still sticking around for opinions. They're still sticking around even though they don't agree with it. There's some people here that don't agree with it at all and are against the project that are still here talking about it. I love it. Love it. Invisible says, I'm suspicious of the amount and suspect creative accounting on Sandy's part to pay off debt, personal spending money, given her history and spending habits. I wouldn't disagree with that. That's not a personal, you know, I'm not being personal here. I'm not attacking Sandy, but I would not disagree with that. That's, again, speculation. But you know, I that's my opinion. I think that maybe there was a little bit of creative accounting. Also wonder how it was spent and would like to see a full disclosure and statement. However, if it was legitimately spent on marketing and adds up pounds for pound and was not negatively affected development or been mismanaged, I'm fine with it. And I think, you know, that goes back to the fact that people do want to see what was being spent. I really do. Let's go here and let's heart that. Thank you, Invisible, for that. Shay says, I think most of the money should be on perfecting what we have. I agree with that, Shay. I agree with that. I do. Ted says, I like to see where it went because I have not seen a Super Bowl ad for SC. Those are still a lot less than 9 million. I expect them to spend a lot more than 9 million on marketing, so it's not the amount that bugs me. It's the Emperor's New Clothes. I want the ads it paid for. That's a great comment, dude. That's funny. That's really funny. Robert, what's going on? Robert says it's a crowdfunded company. A large portion of the budget is going to be marketing. I'm curious as to what marketing that money went into. So he's curious as well. He wants to know. This was, I thought, very good topic. I really enjoyed put this out there for everybody and seeing such activity with this. It was really nice to see you guys get involved and comment on this. Solara, how you doing, Solara? Solara says, she says, for those who think a company like this should have post profits, what do they think? It's a charity? Like all those devs are going to share the same passion as Chris Roberts? Only in fantasy would that be a thing. But in reality, people need money for roof over their heads. CR and Sandy probably need the biggest roof and luxurious amenities for all the mental stress they're probably going through. And I will agree with that. It has not been easy in that regards. I'm sure they've had to deal with that. I'm probably sure that's why you have not seen Sandy this entire year, because she just doesn't want. I think Sandy feels like, hey, if I personally as a professional would like to see her step up to the plate and just take it and say, hey, listen, I'm stepping up here. This is my division. This is how I spend it, and stand up and be accountable. And I think I'd respect that, anybody that did that. And I don't see that. And that's a little concerning. That's a little concerning for me. But yeah, Solara, I mean, posting profits is important. Some people say posting profits, not important. We're just fine. Keep on losing money. And I just don't fucking understand that mentality. I don't get people that say that, but that's okay. That's your opinion, guys. Some guys say that. Some guys say, I'm fine with companies losing money forever. Now, the interesting thing about posting losses is that in the States, you can only do it 3 out of 5 years. Because the IRS eventually says tough titties, and they won't basically accept the fact if you take those losses, they're still going to want a portion of something. They only will be okay with it 3 out of 5 years, and consecutively, I believe you can only do it 3 years in a row. You cannot move the net loss forward from year to year. At least that's what the IRS is about. Anyway, Lizbeth says, in that release, it does say that marketing and publishing includes running costs, server costs, support, customer support costs on top of whatever marketing costs they have. Online content, media, CitizenCon. I can see how all those costs will go up as the game grows. And I guess my question is, what exactly is in marketing? Like what are the, let's break it down. Let's open up Pandora's box here and let's see exactly how they're putting the subcategories of marketing. Like what is included in that marketing column? And I get it. Server costs, support, customer support. I don't think customer support as far as paying your employees is in there. As far as employee money, employee salaries, like the salaries, I don't think is in that market. Now, again, this is my opinion. But like according to the chart we saw in the video that I had done last week, we saw them break out salaries. We saw them put a salaries expense column in there. So I do not think that the salaries are included in that $9 million, which would account for a huge portion of money. And then if the salaries are in there, I am fine with the $9 million. If the salaries are in the marketing expense that they show $9 million, then I would be fine with that $9 million, but I don't think so. I'm 90% sure in my mind, my opinion, that the salaries were not included into that marketing expense, into that $9 million, because I saw salaries get portioned out into their own expense column. Perfect Circle says, it seems a bit premature to spend any money on marketing right now. They should hold off on that and save it for the near release, accumulate money for marketing and release at the appropriate time. First, they have to create a big splash. They got to refine that shit out of the game first. Once that happens, they got to drop the in-marketing cash, the Moab. This will definitely turn heads in the target audience, the mainstream audience. Oh, I talked about that earlier, Razor. I actually talked about that. If you guys want to know what I think about Crytek and SIG, watch the very beginning of the stream. I'm still putting that video together. I had done some video. By the way, this is kind of off topic, but just for those wondering what I think about Crytek and SIG, I've been delving into it for the past 2 days, and my head is swimming. And I haven't put out the official video yet, but I am going to take the time to do one. I had put together a small amount of footage, about 15 minutes worth of me talking about this morning. I went in to edit that footage, and while I was watching it, I told everybody on stream here what I was up to this morning. And while I was watching myself, I said, who the fuck is this guy? This is garbage. And when I have that opinion of myself and I'm watching it, I will not release that video. It's a very strange experience when you watch yourself and you think to yourself, who the fuck is this guy? So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I digest even more of it. And then I'm going to put it out. And it's the thing is it's so very detailed. It's so very detailed. And the documents are just like the litigious nature of everything happening. It is a cluster. It's literally a cluster. I think personally, just to give you like a little blurb of how I feel about it. Anyway, it's beginning of the stream. You'll get my thoughts. You can watch it after this or during this, whatever you want to do. But then an official video, hopefully this week. Official video. Yeah, I went. Fuck, funny. Bucha says, what did Bucha say? Bucha said, the 2018 financials indeed do not separate marketing salaries and regular dev salaries. Note that marketing has 77 employees cited. Yes. So that's great. Thank you for that clarification as well, Bucha. I really appreciate that, dude. The deal says, I think because they haven't finished the game, so they are spending more on marketing to keep it moving. I guess we will know when Squadron 42 is launched, but the marketing budget is going to go up even after. I don't think the marketing budget should go up at all. Like, I think 9 million should be the peak, and I want to start seeing expenses go down. I really want to start seeing expenses go down. It's so important, guys. Your expense column should be lower than your revenue. Like, the expense should be down here and the revenue should be up here. That's just capitalism, guys. Like, that is just the way that it works, or at least strive towards it. And there's a couple people that were telling me, like, what do you think about it being an excuse for taxes? I kind of find it a bit absurd that you would take a loss just for taxes. No business, no American or any capitalistic based corporation should strive to make a loss so they can avoid taxes. That's just not how business works, at least in my humble opinion. So anyway, Wizard says 9 million is low for this sort of thing. Great. I need to have a discussion. We can have a whole video on this. But you should not strive to make a loss just to avoid taxes. Like you shouldn't be in there to be like, you know what our goal is for this year? To make a loss so that we don't have to pay taxes. That is like anti-capitalistic. That is literally anti-capitalistic. that's almost like a communist way of thinking, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion, I get that the losses are fake. I get that they're recording it. I understand that. But eventually, your street cred, your reputation as a company, especially those businesses that need capital, both private and public, will not be able to bring in new capital if they show red. If you are going to a bank and you're saying, hey, I need more capital to do what it is that I need to do, and you show them all red, they will say, go fuck yourself. You get no capital. And that is a dangerous position for any company to be, whether you are private or public. Now, what about Cloud Imperium? They're private. Okay. Why would they need money? Maybe because they're cash tight. Well, they were cash tight. So what did they do? Do you think that they wanted to take on more business loans at a bank? They couldn't, really, because they already had loans at that particular point in time that they were trying to pay off. Well, so what they do next? Oh, hi, Calders. Oh, you believe in us? You're going to give us 46 million, but you want shares? Okay. All right. Well, see, that's how the business world works. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, no business that continues to post losses finds itself in a healthy business position. In the financial world, that is kind of like death. Unless you are so large and have such an ambitious goal, like an Amazon, and you go public, or like any of the companies that we're talking about here. And the very idea of it. Oh, my phone's ringing. I have to hang up real quick on my mother. Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I hung up on you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk to my fans about financials, Mom. I know you understand. Hey, Mom. Okay, let's get back to the video. Let's get back to the video. At least, okay, here's the thing. These are all my opinions, by the way. It's fine if you think I'm wrong, and it's fine to disagree, and that's great. But these are all my own opinions. This is based upon my own experience. It's not, I have no degree. This is just from 10 years of trading markets and watching CNBC every day, watching financial analysts, analyzing analyzing companies that I was interested in investing in, looking at their balance sheets, listening to conference calls, listening to earnings calls. Where am I going to put my money? Is this company a legitimate company? Do they have a great idea? Like, this is where all of this is coming from. Just my own personal experience at the ground floor. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. Matt, do you understand that while that is on CNBC, that might be something that people don't agree with as well? There are many different positions when it comes to articles like that. There's going to be people that agree with that article. There are going to be people that disagree with that article. In my opinion, if you run your business in the red every single year for a numerous amount of years, unless you are a large corporation with big ideas, you're going to find yourself in a world full of trouble, period. And we're not talking about a very large company here. We're talking about Cloud Imperium. But anyhow, again, my viewpoint on things. This is my viewpoint. Wizard says 9 million is low for this sort of thing. There's a lot of talk going over here. Sorry if I'm not hitting everybody. 9 million is low for this sort of thing. No, I don't agree with that, Wizard, but okay. Typically, the split for dev and marketing for other AAA studios is a pittance for the devs and 70 million for commercials about pre-order bonuses. As far as I care, they have more than enough money I don't think, I mean, after the 46 million, I think they do have a reserve of cash. So they had a hell of a lot more. They have a hell of a lot more cash now, Wizard, than they previously had before the Cowders. So I will agree with that. I'm actually pretty happy so little has gone to marketing. Don't agree with that, but I respect your opinion. Donnie says, look no further than the Star Citizen logo. Oh, excuse me, logo, and plug on the new Intel Optane drive box. Oh, yeah, you know, you talk about sponsor type events and that thing. I get that. Dr. Nick says, not sure why they need to spend that much, seeing how their target audience already have bought into the game. I really do not see them picking up that many more customers. Now, we talked about this earlier. The potential sales of Squadron 42. It's a great topic. Squadron 42, in my opinion, I think will end up making more than what was spent. But I don't think that Squadron 42 numbers are going to be gangbusters. I don't think we're going to see like gangbuster numbers out of Squadron 42 for two reasons. One, on open, initially, the game will be sold to PCs only. It won't be offered on all platforms. Perhaps down the road, it will open up to other platforms, but upon open, it is going to be PCs only. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about total sales for Squadron 42. And the second reason that I think it's not going to post huge gangbuster numbers are that many people have already bought Squadron 42. A lot of people in my day, back in my day, in 2015, I think all the way up to what, 2016 perhaps, maybe in 2017, Squadron 42 was included with your package. It was included with the ship that you bought. Now it is not. Now it is its own separate thing. Or if it isn't and it's included with a ship, that they include the cost of Squadron 42. And there is a lot of money being left on the table without a console release. There's a large portion of money that is not going to be seen because of it. Inforunner says PC is half the market literally, but it's going console. They be stupid not with how easy it is to port. So that's a great point, Info. But I will say this: it's not scheduled. There's no confirmation as to them doing that. If they said, hey, we are going to be able to monetize this being ported over to consoles, if they said that, I'd feel a hell of a lot more positive about the sales. I would feel a hell of a lot more positive about the total overall sales of Squadron 42 if they said that. But I have not had any official confirmation execute on that. So it's great. It's great to see you guys. It's great to see Inforunners here. It's great to see Bucha from Sunk Cost Galaxy here. It's great to see people that are covering the game as well as myself in here discussing these things. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. I really do not see them picking up that many more customers. So I pretty much agree with Nick's comment. I do. Triple Threat says, not upset. Okay, listen, a commercial during the Super Bowl per 30 seconds costs $30 million. Okay. All right. Triple threat, I think, is suggesting the fact that maybe they should do a Super Bowl commercial. No, just teasing. Dark Angel says, I will always vote towards Sandy. Just kidding. Seriously, though, companies don't spend multiple millions of dollars with nothing to show for it. And so far, I see no indication of any new marketing. Love you, fam. Keep up the questioning for the rest of us. Love you too, Dark. Thanks, man. Thank you. Brixie, what's going on, Brixie? By the way, if you guys haven't checked out Brixie's map, go to my channel. I love his two-dimensional map of like it's like a two-dimensional arc map. It's awesome. $9 million for marketing could easily have been spent on the advertising, production, and the like. Content that they don't want revealed yet could. Oh, that's I don't know. Maybe, possibly. I don't know about that. Content not being revealed yet and being spent in 2018 that we currently have not seen. I don't know. It could have been scheduled in that budget. Could have been. There's a possibility. Could include costs related to leading actors. I don't think it has to do with paying actors. I don't think that budget goes to paying actors, Brixie. Just my opinion, bro. It does seem early days for this scale of advertising expenditure, but it is tiny in comparison to how much is normally spent in AAA games. And yeah. I mean, but you also have to consider the source too, Brixie. This isn't a publicly traded company. And even though they've posted, over $250 million of revenue by backer dollars, plus the 46 million, and the take them up past 300 million, they're still not like what I would call like a AAA company yet. They're not a publicly traded company. But I love you, Brix. Give you a heart there, bro. Energine says, while I'd much prefer the Tesla model of zero spending on marketing. Oh my God, is that true? Does Elon not spend any money on marketing at all? Like, what a genius. If that's true, good for you, Elon. I need to buy some Tesla, man. If that's true. Wow. Jace is correct. He does not. Good. Can we all have like a round of applause here? A little golf clap for Elon. Wow. Good for you, Elon. Wow, dude, this is fantastic. Like, this is just like, good job. Elon is just like, he's a Superman. What the fuck, Elon, man? If it's a highly successful campaign bringing more funding in the cost, it's worth every penny. Oh man, I've got to tell you. Oh man, didn't realize that Elon pays zero for marketing. Awesome. Bam, confirmed. Wow, that's amazing. Ricky says 20% of their income spent on marketing for the year. It's 25. I know that extra 5% doesn't seem like a lot. Considering they got 46 million from investments that are basically only for marketing, the marketing budget went up. How much do you think they should spend on marketing? That's a good question. So Ricky's telling me, like, how much do you think? I wouldn't necessarily mark it as a percentage. I think I'm only concerned by the fact that the amount that they showed was spent for 2018, Ricky, was over the loss posted. I think that's what I'm most upset about. Like, their loss in 2018 was, I think, net 7 million, and they posted a 9 million expense. And essentially, I get why they would have recorded the loss, but like I said, over time, consecutively posting losses, I believe, is a bad business practice. And that's, again, my opinion. Explained on stream. We'll see in vid. So there we go. I hope that kind of enlightens you a little bit more on my line of thinking there. There's old man Jay. What's up, Jay? He's on stream with us. My opinion doesn't register on this poll. Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that, but YouTube only allows me 5, Jay. I can only give you guys 5 choices. I wish I could make more than that. I used to only do 2, but Tex was always pissed off that I only offered 2. And Jay says, I know, don't worry. On one hand, I would need to see where the money was spent for marketing before taking a position. Now, that is great. That is a logical, rational comment. I am liking that, Jay. He's like, hey, I won't say anything till I see it. So that's why I do these videos, right? So that hopefully this gets out there, more people are talking about it. And, maybe they say, hey, we're hearing people talking about this. Maybe we'll open this up too. I doubt it. But I'm a content creator and I love to create content. I love to hear your voices. And I think, what the hell, why not? So anyway, for all we know, that was spent mostly on CitizenCon, staff wages. And again, I think that it was spent on CitizenCon in certain departments. I don't necessarily think that wages have anything to do with it. In fact, Bucha even confirmed that wages do not have anything to include in that. But travels, rentals, lodgings, all these incidentals, yes. But I guess my question is like, can that actually add up to 9 million in 2018? Like, can all of that add up to 9 million? And again, like Jay says, he wants to see how it was spent before he has an opinion. This is great. My opinion on the matter is, though, after covering it for so long, that something just seems a little off for me. That's just my own opinion, but I like it. It's a great rational comment, and I should think more like you, Jay. I guess that's where I'm putting it. I should be more like you, Jay. I need to be more like Jay. The weekly video is paying off BBC for their investigation. So yeah, and that's another thing too, is like, do we think as a community that, and this is a great question actually, do you think that and it was the inspiration is Jay's comment right there. Do we think that money was spent in marketing by paying by paying a BBC or a massive overpowered article, or, you know, do we think that the money was actually used towards like marketing in that respect? You know, like, here's some money, BBC, cover us. You think they did? Fox says yes. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of split on that. Yeah. You think so too, Bucha? Yeah. They did take the time out to mention the fact that they were featured on BBC, and the BBC article was very positive. They did mention what was the other one? What was the other one? God, I can't think. There was another large article that was just Newsweek, the Newsweek article. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. So yeah, there was a couple things, and then the kind of more small toned down gaming websites like Massively Overpowered and stuff. Good stuff, dude. Sorry, didn't mean to downvote you. Damn it. Damn it, Jay. The other hand, let's see. If it was upgrading flights for Sandy to work on her acting career, or for employee to take family vacation to Disneyland. Shit. Jay, what are you doing to me, dude? Okay, Vaz. Chris is just like Elon. Put forth an image that portrays how they are different from the rest, but underneath a visionary spirit. They are visionary. They are visionary people. Like, what Chris is trying to do, I think, pushing the envelope of technology is respectable. It is respectable. It might not be like Elon Musk-esque. It might not be up there with him, but I think it's definitely a footnote that Chris Roberts does kind of push that envelope in his own way. You know, in his own way, to kind of say, okay, this is what we want. Now, what do we do to get there? And then he pushes people to get to that point. Now, hopefully they can get there. I mean, that is the hope. That is the hope. Whether you can get there or not, that's why I continue to cover it. I continue to cover it because of that. I know, Matt. I know. What Elon Musk is doing is leagues above. But like I said, Chris Roberts does deserve a footnote for pushing technologies, at least in the gaming sector. I thought we did the advertising via word of mouth other than CitizenCon. I don't see TV spot or browser pop up. Not even a YouTube commercial on SC6Q42. Nothing. I mean, you don't see it being advertised that way. Precision's right. But what I can definitely say is they did not use it on salvaging. That's good. Shikuku Wabe. Hey, haven't seen anyone consider the possibility those are simply allocated funds for that purpose. They could have locked this budget. Yeah, this could be a budget thing. This could be creative accounting. As far as we know, these funds could be allocated for starter heavier marketing campaigns for SQ42s. I don't think they did that kind of planning. You know, like, I don't know. They could have. I mean, it's like, again, it's a possibility where in 2018 they said, hey, we're going to allocate this budget for future marketing expenses, but that's a little bit, it's not as probable, but there is a small possibility. Don't really see any serious reason to suspect such nefarious accusations. And again, you know, I'm not going after them like, you know, like an angry, pissed off, you know, hey, son of a bitches. I'm just, you know, like looking at it from a professional financial business kind of angles where I'm looking at it. It's just curious. Singular Dank says, that is a lot of money to be spending to start off. I agree. Secondly, the only real proper marketing I've seen for this game have been their ship commercials that are through their own YouTube channel, by the way. Actors giving shout outs in the yearly conventions. That does not add up. And I agree. So I do agree with that. I do. That's, again, my personal opinion. Tony Bologna. I want to say Baloney. Tony Baloney. Well, they did hire an actual production crew, and I'm one for giving people at least somewhat of a livable See, I don't think salary was part of it. Sorry, Tony, I just don't. And Bucha also confirmed that it was not. But also, I had been saying well ahead of the beginning of the video that they have a salary broken down separate. And I doubt that was in there, and Bucha confirmed that. Windlord says, as I mentioned in your video, we don't know if the marketing makes sense. For sure it doesn't, if just for ISC and other YouTube vids or CitizenCon. I'm sure CitCon isn't cheap, but given the ticket price and sold out venues, it should at least break even. Interesting. I do think they are more than likely ramping up marketing for SQ42, and it is possible that BBC Click and other positive fluff pieces are otherwise recompensed financially, but we don't know for sure. A more clear breakdown of marketing expenditure would be appreciated, but somehow I don't think this will be forthcoming. I agree with that. I agree. I would certainly like to see it be open to everybody. Maybe it's all going towards Sandy Hollywood self-marketing. I'm not going to make it personal. On Sandy and the marketing team, I have said for a long time the marketing and sales practices of SIG are their weakest link. I would agree with that. I agree. Often coming across as greedy and money-oriented rather than backer-friendly. At least that's the public. I would say that's the majority of the public opinion as to that. I would agree with that. This mixed with questionable sales schemes and misinformation has often spread derision and even anger in the community. They do need to handle the PR better on that. I agree with that. From the way they handled LTI enforced ship scarcity, panic buying. I don't like the enforced ship scarcity too. The argument is that you're going to see one particular type of ship everywhere. I don't necessarily agree with that. But I also am against like this enforced ship scarcity. They could definitely have higher revenues if they released out more ships, at least increased it or just said there was no cap. And that's another video unto itself. Panic buying and changing for watching last year's CitCon. The refund and policy changes brushed under the carpet. It does not look good. While there can be no questioning the financial success of their marketing, some of their decisions do appear somewhat morally bankrupt. I also do not think Sandy has much to do with marketing at all, other than name and as a face. It is more likely this is under Chris Roberts' control. I hope that SIG can learn from their mistakes and become a more open and honest company in this regard. Sorry for the long-winded response, but my name is Windlord. I loved it. Great comment. Great comments. I think that's a very well thought out, structured argument. That's very well done, Wind. Alintro. Well, they received almost 50 million for marketing purpose, so be prepared for bigger numbers. I just would be scared if they come out with any bigger number than 9 million. Even with that 48 million in revenue, if they came out with a bit larger number for market spending, I'd be a little bit concerned. For a game this size, I think it should be a bit more than 9 million. I mean, I wouldn't confuse, and to that, Jorg, I wouldn't confuse the business financial side and the health of Cloud Imperium with the game itself. I understand the scope and the grandiose nature of Star Citizen, what we all want it to be, but I would say to be financially, fiscally responsible, and I hope they don't go over 9 million. That's just me. Mako says, by the way, Mako, good to see you, man. It's been a while. As others have said, there are a lot of things that can be included with the cost of advertising. Not all of them necessarily cost actual money. Like, look at how they've given a bunch of moles to streamers to give away. That is a great point. That is something that they might be doing. That is a wonderful point, Mako. And I'm already hearting this one. That is something that I did not think about. That is an interesting angle. Perhaps what Cloud Imperium is doing are on events like these where they're giving away their own ships to people. Perhaps they're including in that marketing expense, using the cost of their own ships as an expense, which would viably define what they're doing as giving away product, people. This is getting back into my video about how ship sales to me are a product, that they're selling a product. And a lot of people, it's kind of like a 50-50 split. A lot of people were with me. A lot of people were against me on that one. Some people said, no, these are just pledges because legally this is what Cloud Imperium did. They worded it this way as such, and therefore they are pledges. I understand that angle, but I am of the ilk that I believe these are all products, and that we buy these products even if they're concept because of the fact that we will eventually receive that product. So that is a great angle there. Doesn't cost them actual money out of the bank, but they can write each off for. This is a wonderful, well thought out, wonderful comments. Never thought of that angle. That might account for, but yeah, I get into that info. If you want to see my angle on that, I get into that on another video, dude. I won't go into that, but I get what it is defined legally. Hold on, this is my daughter. Hold on 1 second. Oh my gosh, it's 2:00. I gotta get my car. Hey Zoe. Why don't you head on over right now? Okay, I love you, honey. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, bye. Oh my God, guys. I had dropped off my car. I didn't even realize. Is it 2 already? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to have to end the stream. I have my car waiting for me because I had to take it back as a Ford for a safety recall. Why is my family's always interrupting my video? I love it. They're always in my videos. These calls are always in my videos. Only those that are most patient will get to this portion of the video because this video has been a while. Oh my God. I'm having a blast. Thanks guys for sticking with me. Like, who could imagine that there's this many people that are listening right now that will be this tuned in to financials. This is why I love you guys, man. This is an interesting talk, but I do have to end it. And I am sorry to everybody here. I am so sorry, but my Ford had a safety recall because a bushing needs replaced. And I dropped it off this morning, which is why I started the stream slightly late. And now it is 2:00. And my daughter called me to say, "What's up, Dad?" She's like, "You need to go." My daughter. All right. I absolutely love you guys. I will have another stream either tomorrow or on Thursday. Those that are in the Discord, let me just give you guys a link. I love you guys. Go there, join the family. Super chill, super open-minded. Don't forget, we are also having a giveaway. Consider being a part of that. Oh, I'm sorry. That giveaway is not the correct giveaway. But if you go to my Patreon page, you will see that we are giving away a Gladius and a Mustang Alpha for this month. And also, if you want to support new merch, looking good, looking professional, got that. Where's that logo? There's that logo, looking pretty fresh, pretty tight. Go check it out. I'm sorry I couldn't get to the rest of your comments, guys. I super apologize. And but don't worry. Wrong arm, right? Thanks, Fox. Fox is here. He's like, "I'm the moderator. I'm going to tell him it's the wrong arm." Neri. Oh my goodness, Neri. Where are you lurking in the background, hun? Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. I don't want to go. Like, I really don't even want to go. This makes me sad. This really makes me kind of sad. I really don't even want to go.